I'd just like to introduce you very briefly to our panel here tonight. On my left is Andy Pollock, Director of the Centre for Cross-Border Studies. On his left, Mr. Peter Savage, who's the Chairman of Louth County Council. To his left, we have Professor Gabriel Cooney, Professor of Archaeology at the School of Archaeology in University College Dublin. And then to his left, we have a most welcome guest, Sarah Kinsella O'Malley, who is the daughter of Thomas Kinsella, poet and translator of Tain Bo Cuailgne. So welcome to all our panel tonight. The Shared Heritage and Myths project has been running for the past 15 months. It has been a far-reaching programme. It has invited people from Louth, down Armagh and further afield. People have come to share with us on three thematic elements to the programme: landscape and archaeology, music and creative arts, and finally arts of the hearth, domestic heritage. Tonight really is the launch of the festival Inheritance 2010, Sharing Heritage and Building Peace. I'm really delighted to have a representative from County Louth of the calibre of Mr. Peter Savage, the Chairman of the County Council. I'm just going to ask Peter now to come and officially launch the programme for us. Thank you very much, Peter.
I thank all of you who have battled the elements to be here. The EU Programme for Peace and Reconciliation in Northern Ireland and the border region of Ireland 2007 to 2013 is known as Peace 3 Programme, and it aims to build on the considerable progress of Peace 1 and 2. The County Louth Peace 3 Peace and Reconciliation Action Plan 2008 to 2010 is tasked with reinforcing progress towards a peaceful society, particularly in building positive relations at community level. Tonight we're celebrating the culmination of Activity 7 of the Louth Peace Plan, entitled Shared Heritage and Myths. This project was designed to develop new ways of looking at our shared society, or our shared history. Participants explored the landscape and archaeology on guided field trips. They conducted workshops in music, dance and song. Young and old were engaged in foraging in the forests of Kilbroney and celebrated the art of our mothers and grandmothers in baking, cooking and stitching workshops. The latter coincided with the centenary year of the foundation of the Irish Countrywomen's Association, an organisation which we in Louth can be very proud. Two of the island's leading photographic societies, Dundalk and Banbridge, have taken a snapshot of our shared heritage, which you can enjoy at their joint exhibition this weekend. The response to the Shared Heritage and Myths project has been hugely positive and demonstrates the innate sense of place and history, which we on this island enjoy, but it also the willingness to explore these spaces with new eyes and learn more of the other. This initiative has genuinely tried to demystify heritage to make it more acceptable and meaningful in its possibilities for peace building.
We all know what the border means in Ireland. Borders tend to divide people. For the last 11 years working out of Armagh, I have tried in a small way to cross the Irish border by working with people on practical projects in health, in education, in training, in ICT, to try and persuade them something I believe very, very passionately, which is that the future of this island and the future of this country is going to be about people working together.
I grew up with the Tain. I was 12 when the book was published, so the years before, it was always in our consciousness. We were conscious of the numbers of people that were coming in and out of the house, working intensely on strange and odd sort of activities, translating flitters of paper that would then be photocopied, which was kind of amazing in the 1960s, and pinned onto a wall. There was a marvellous man called Procius McConnell who told stories, history stories. There was Liam Miller, who was a publisher. There was a man called Jean Haley who could read a map and show you how place names worked out. And all of this was happening on the kitchen table while they'd have the tea or the soup that my mother would provide, and then they'd head off to the office, and silence would descend on the house. And then there was the mysterious but unseen Guggenheim, who I honestly thought was a person. Guggenheim actually was a foundation that produced some funds for this work to be done. It's as an adult that I realised that what they were doing in the office was merging the disciplines of history, geography, archaeology, place names, folklore, cartography, in addition to language. And there were no borders. There were no effort was spared. The discipline of trying to get the translation right, trying to get the work right, was what was important. It is a real honour as a family member to be at an inaugural Thomas Kinsella lecture, and I hope that the initiative that started here to improve the awareness of the time will foster new generations of that kind of intense scholarship, and I thank you very much.
To this inaugural meeting, and my apologies. I'm sorry not to be with you this evening, but with Eleanor and myself, I wish you all the very best. I hope, in fact, that something of what has been recorded will be the beginning of discussion and maybe even of solution to some of the problems. Liam Miller was the founder of the Dawn Press. I was introduced to him when the press was beginning, and I think both of us were finding our way into our careers. And he had a notion of translation from the Old Irish and suggested to me doing the story of the Sons of Uisneach. In actual fact, I hadn't heard of the Sons of Uisneach. And the experience of the actual text revealed that it was the story of Deirdre of the Sorrows. I'd been used to that as a dramatic, romantic, sad story. But the Sons of Uisneach was a completely different business. It was brutal, direct, bloodthirsty, with Deirdre as a victim of very stern warfare. And it was far superior to the version of Deirdre that I had run into before. So I was looking for similar literature. It was the Old Irish version, and it opened into a general interest in Old Irish as a basis for some kind of interest.
I want to try and weave a story in a way tonight, hopefully that has some resonances with everything that Peter, Andy and Sarah said in different ways. So I'm going to steer away from a lot of the detail of the plot, because again there are people in the audience who certainly know Cooley far better than I do. But I wanted to pick up on ideas and notions and concepts that are there that might have a relevance in terms of how we live our lives and how we move forward. Academically, my colleagues who know far more about this than I do have suggested that there are different ways of reading the Táin. We could see it as the product of a native pagan oral tradition. That saga, the vernacular epic produced through oral tradition. We could see it as a deliberate attempt by monks and others in the early historic period, probably in places like Louth and elsewhere, to create an early Irish literary epic, to write it down, starting probably in the 7th century and elaborating so. And another view, of course, and in a way leading on from the second one, is that this is a political commentary, which is really about what was going on in Armagh in the early medieval period, and the episcopal succession. And then, in the middle of the last century BC, what's called the 40-metre structure was built. A series of concentric post holes focused on a large post hole in the centre with a round leading out of it, constructed like this. Here we're seeing it as being roofed. But again, if you think about it, the diameter of this is about 40 metres across. The implications of trying to roof that and the height of the roof it would be very, very high. The other possibility is that it was open again. Undoubtedly, this is a figure that was meant to stand. When these figures, on the other hand, are found in bold, they're often found on their side, the next one please. And here's a more, if you like, what's the word, attenuated one, slightly more abstract, having seen, rather than very hard to escape the idea that we're looking at the same thing. Deliberately shown sideways here because this is the way it was found in the bowl. But on the other hand, as the very detailed drawing suggests, clearly intended to stand. I think one of the reasons why it has this currency is because of the translation. And I think it also was one of the reasons why we could make it work. Not simply in terms of the fantastic ideas and importance of going to visit the sites of the poem, of recognising it as a historic asset, but as a story that still has meaning, of course, today, and that in a way that can be used to point into the future. And I think we really do need to remember Andy's words at the start, this notion of working together. And I think Tom Kinsella's words at the start, the notion of human lunacy. Yes, we're lunatics, but we can also work together. And I wanted to end, if you like, with this point. This is the last stanza from a poem by Thomas Kinsella, talking about the death of a young woman in her late 20s. The time of death of a lot of people in the history, let me say. But I think he's striking here the kind of note, the difficulty of the human condition and why we go on. At the foot of justice may be someone peace, death and nay peace, and fight its ashen back. Mother, brother, our passion cease, such peace may come. And sending good, chase the